Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well. You're all very welcome to this morning's webinar. And we'll just give it a couple of moments for people to join us. So grab a cup of tea or a nice lemsip and honey, and we'll start in a couple of moments. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it. I can see people are still coming into the room. Morning, everyone. So just so we know that everyone can hear me okay, you might just pop a good morning into the chat. Let me know what the weather is like. Dare I ask the dreaded question, what the weather is like wherever you are in the country? I'm currently in Dublin, and yes, we are on a orange weather alert. It's hard to keep track of all the colours, so it's wet and wild. Orange warning in Wicklow, wet and windy in Kilkenny. Morning, Katrina. Rainy in County Roscommon. Morning, Declan. Thanks for joining us. Windy and cold in Limerick. Oh my. I feel like it's just been constantly raining, wet and windy over the last number of these days. I'm joined by Brian here, my colleague. Brian, how are you?
I'm well, Carl. Thanks. Good morning, everybody. Likewise, enjoying the weather.
You're in Wicklow, aren't you?
I'm in sunny Wicklow. Absolutely.
Sunny Wicklow.
Sunny Wicklow. We'll see what the day brings.
We can only hope. Maybe we're in for a good summer with all this rain. Maybe the summer will be good. We live in
We've
hope,
served
right?
our time anyway.
Yeah. Morning, Eileen. Thanks for joining us. Morning, Lurleen. Okay. So look, I think we'll start on the webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. As I said, I know your time is very precious, and we appreciate you coming along to this morning's webinar where we're going to take you through how you can build a great workplace, what's behind the Great Place to Work program, how the process works. We're going to share with you a couple of case studies as well, from organizations that are in the program. So you can take those case studies away as inspiration, and maybe apply them to your own workplace context. We want this to be as interactive as we can. All right. So please post any questions you have in the Q&A. Ideally the Q&A for the questions, not the chat, so we can just keep track on them as we're going. Thank you to those people that sent in questions in advance. We appreciate it. And we got a few questions in advance, so thank you for that. So post the questions into the Q&A, as we're going through it. We're happy to answer any questions that you have, of course. And I know some of you we've been in contact already, and we'll follow up with you individually, post the webinar to really understand your business strategy, what are you looking to achieve, and how the Great Place to Work program can support you in that. And just the slide we're looking at here is I suppose it's a core foundation in terms of Great Place to Work. So it's one simple survey, the Great Place to Work survey, and from that survey is multiple recognition opportunities. So it's all based off the employee survey that we run as an organization. And just to say as well, we have a very experienced team at Great Place to Work. Next year, we're heading towards an important milestone as an organization, heading towards 25 years, helping organizations build great cultures. We're very proud of that milestone, and we have a great team in place that are able to support you along your great place to work journey. Thanks, Akshita. So in terms of just some deadlines for you, right? So we've multiple recognition opportunities. It's important to say that to open up the recognition opportunities, a great place to work, you have to be certified as a great place to work, and that's off the survey. But if you want to be included in this year's best workplaces for health and well-being list, then the deadline is the 5th of March in terms of the survey. And if you're a tech organization, and I know we have some tech organizations on the call today, we have a best workplaces in tech list. And if you want to be included in that, the deadline for survey is the 9th of April. So keep an eye on those deadlines. But as I said, the first step to recognition is the survey and then to be certified as a great place to work. And then that opens up the other recognition opportunities. Thanks, Akshita. So as I said, we're going to try and make it as interactive as possible. Appreciate everyone telling me all about the good weather that you're having wherever you are in the country. So we'll have a couple of polls. We've also got a quiz that we want you to take part in. And as I said, post the questions in the Q&A function. So I think we're going to have a look at a quiz now, Akshita. So this, if you could take a couple of moments to fill in this quiz, you can scan the quiz on your mobile phone. So please pick up your mobile phone. I know sometimes on these things we're asked to turn off our phones, but not in this one. Please scan the quiz there on your mobile phone. It'll take a couple of moments for you to work through the questions. All right. And then what you'll receive if you work through those questions is you'll receive your own individual report on your answers. And then we'll come back and have a chat about the findings. So please take a couple of moments just to fill in the quiz there. Appreciate it. And this is you answering in terms of your own workplace, whether you believe you're in a great workplace. So you can scan there on the QR code. Hope it's working for everyone. Anyone has any challenges working it, just pop something into the chat there. We'll help you out. And we'll leave it there for one more minute, just so people can complete the quiz. And you'll get your own little report in terms of the answers you've given off the back of it. So discover how great your workplace really is. Anyone has any issues there with the QR code? Marina, thanks for that. Marina has popped in the link to the quiz as well in the chat. So and 30 seconds there on the quiz. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you very much for that. We'll just have a look at a quick poll here, Akshita. So you'll have received your individual results. So based on the results that you've seen and the questions and the answers that you've given, what result did you get after the quiz? So your organization is laying the groundwork for success. Your organization needs guidance and support to become a great workplace. Your organization is on the right track for certification. So what was the results you got from the quiz? Your organization is laying the groundwork for success. Your organization needs guidance and support to become a great workplace. And your organization is on the right track for certification. So thank you there. If you just want to fill in one of the choices there, and we'll have a look at the results. So a quiz and a poll. We're working you hard this morning on this wet morning. What result did you get after the quiz? Okay, so the question was, what results did you get after the quiz? 8% your organization is laying the groundwork for success. Okay, that's great. The building blocks in terms of building a great culture. Remember, this program can help you with the building blocks in terms of laying the foundations for success. All right. Your organization needs guidance and support to become a great workplace. Well, you've come to the right town. As I said, we have lots of years of experience helping organizations build great cultures. So no matter where you are on the journey, we can help you, right? And we can give you that guidance and give you that support. And Breen will take us through some of the areas in terms of how we provide that guidance and support. And your organization is on the right track for certification. Well, that's great. And whether you need guidance or support, we can help you from a culture point of view. And also, of course, you can be recognized and certified as a great place to work. So we've got to keep in mind those two things go hand in hand. The guidance and support we can give you for your work culture, help you improve your work culture, but also you can be recognized as a great place to work, which is really good for your employer brand. Thank you very much, Akshita, and thank you to everyone for taking part in the quiz and the poll. I appreciate it. And we're going to pop this link into the chat for you so you can see it. So we have a really good report all about the employee experience in Ireland, but also the employee experience across Europe. How do people feel about leadership? How do people feel about well-being? How do people feel about engagement? How do they feel about, the trust levels they have for the organization? So that report is full of really good stats, but really good advice as well and best practices for your own organization. And thanks, Akshita, popped the link into the chat there. So I hope you enjoy that. And just on the next slide, we've taken one of the just one of the findings from the report. So the Great Place to Work certification matters more to Irish employees than their European peers. And within the Irish employees that were surveyed, they're 70% more likely, if they knew an organisation was certified as a great place to work, they would be 70% more likely to want to work in that organisation. So let's think about that in terms of your talent attraction. For the talent to know that you're certified as a great place to work, it's going to be something that helps your talent attraction. It's going to be something that helps people apply for a position, for a job within your organization. And some of the case studies I'll share will speak into exactly some organizations and how they've used the brand to attract better talent. Thanks, Akshita. So I hope everyone enjoys that report. And then, look, we believe that any organization can build a great workplace. I know we have organizations across different industries, different sizes on the call, different stages of their own journey in terms of culture. But our model works for any organization. Once you have 10 employees or more, our model works. And we've had the pleasure and the privilege of working with organizations across all industries, across all sizes. And this slide just gives you a sense of the different industries that we're in. And of course, we'd really welcome any company on this call to join us on this program. It's important to say, not only will you get good advice on your culture, but you'll also get access to the Great Place to Work community where you can learn from other organizations on the things that they have done along their journey. Thanks, Akshita. So kind of into the first case study that we're gonna share, and you can scan again on your phone or we'll pop the link into the chat, all right? But why do organizations engage in Great Place to Work? There is lots of reasons, but I'm just gonna take you through two areas. First is employee retention, the next is talent attraction. And just take you through a number of organizations that have improved their work culture using the Great Place to Work model. And as a result, then their retention and their attraction numbers have improved. So within the middle of the slide there, we're looking at an organization called Esri. Esri are a software services organization, and they've used the program over a number of years to improve their work culture and also grow their employer brand. Okay. In fact, I was actually with the leadership team of Esri yesterday, talking to them about their latest survey results and helping them build out an action plan around improvement. So as they've improved their culture, that they've improved areas like communication, well-being, areas like that, their retention rate has improved by 20%. 90% of new candidates within Esri, when they come for an interview, okay, mention the reason why they're going for the interview is because they've seen that they're a great place to work. And they're spontaneous mentions. So 90% of the new candidates say the reason that they're coming for the interview is because they have been recognized as a great place to work. And another area that's important for Esri on their journey is being a great place to work has helped them build their brand personality beyond the technology that they provide and the services that they provide. So once they were a great place to work, then they were able to profile the Esri culture in terms of people experience working there, people believing it's a great place to work, so they could storytell around their work culture, and that helped them attract talent. And then completely different sector on the right-hand side of the screen is an organization called ORS. They're a building consultancy in terms of design, planning, and management advice all around building. Great organization. Again, have improved their work culture over the years as they've used our model to improve. And they have a direct hire rate now of 98%. So they used to rely heavily on recruitment agencies in terms of getting new talent. Now they have a direct hire rate of 98%, which they attribute to being a great place to work. Their employee retention is at 85%. And a stat from ORS as an organization, 91% of their people believe that it's a great place to work. So they've made great improvements over the years. And just the final area I'm going to share with you around talent attraction. So again, the importance of being able to attract good talent, the importance of being able to fill the pipeline of talent, the importance of being able to get the best people, the best fit for your organization, the speed to hire. All those things are really important that we all deal with from an organizational point of view. And Cluntech organization headquartered in Kilkenny, started as a business in 1996, and they've now grown into a global organization with clients throughout the globe, lots of software companies as part of the Cluntech brand, and they started engaging with Great Place to Work in 2014. So they've been in the program for many years. I'll be meeting the leadership team in a couple of weeks to go through their next set of survey results and to help them action plan around improvement. And each year they've improved their trust levels that they've been with us, and they see Terry, the CEO, sees that as a reason why productivity and profitability has increased, is their focus on their people. Reduced employee turnover by 30%. So imagine taking that pressure on the business in terms of employee turnover reduced by 30% because they're having a better experience. They're now working in a great culture with great leaders. And from a talent attraction point of view, their employee referral rates has gone from 47 in the year 2020. They comfortably get well over 200 employee referrals from their existing employees that they then hire into the organization. So it's had a big impact in terms of their talent attraction. And Akshita has popped the links to those case studies into the chat. So I hope you enjoyed them. Okay, and as I said, just before I hand over to Breen, please post the questions in the Q&A. We want to hear what's on your mind. We want to hear the questions that you have. Any questions you have, pop them into the Q&A and we'll happily take you through them. Thank you, Breen. Good morning. I'll hand over to you.
Good morning again, everybody. Thanks, Cathal, and thanks for all that background and insight, and able to demonstrate where a great place to work adds value for organizations. What I just like to do in my piece, as it were, here is just, if I could share really three things with you and give you a sense of the process in terms of getting started, what the survey actually looks like, and then some of the outcomes for organizations that we work with. So how we engage with organizations is on a 3-year basis. So as Carl mentioned at the start earlier on, the first recognition for organizations to achieve is to be Great Place to Work certified. But what we don't want is certification to be the only measure of success for organizations. So we engage on a 3-year program. We introduce you to the framework, and that gives you the step-by-step support along the way so that we can work with you on that journey. So as I say, there's really three pieces that I'd like to focus on. The main piece is the survey. And Carl mentioned that everything is driven from the employee experience survey. So when we engage with you as an organization, we can now give you access to our client platform, and we give you access to a hub. And in here, you have access to a huge amount of resources and ideas in terms of pre-survey communication and supporting along the way. So we get you engaged, introduce you to the platform, and give you access to the hub. And then importantly, you'll have access to two documents that you'll need to look at and to complete before the survey. One is an employee template, and the other one is a company brief. They're really brief documents, but our client success team will join you on a call and walk you through the logistics of the process in terms of what you need to pay attention to, what documents need to be completed. And this team is specialized, as Carl has alluded to. They've been doing this at a high level for a long time. So they're very adept at working with every organization of every size and working with you to take you through the key steps in advance of the survey going live, and confirming around confidentiality and anonymity, and giving people in the organization comfort to fill in the survey. And then we're launching the survey. That survey window is open for 2 weeks, but people fill in the survey very, very quickly. So probably between 12 and 14 minutes, you'll have got a sense of it there from the quiz that you filled in earlier, in terms of the rhythm and the style of the way you answer statements. So you can see you answered 10 statements there in a couple of minutes. So you're moving very quickly through. While the survey is live, we'll be able to update you on what the response rate actually looks like. And then we're looking to close out the survey. So Great Place to Work is doing all of that work in terms of launching the survey, monitoring the survey live, and keeping you updated with the response rate. And then we close the survey. So when we're closing the survey, then we're really drawing on the data. So coming out of the survey are two things. One is the recognition opportunities that we've mentioned, and the other one then importantly is your data. And this is where we get into looking at your data. And if we move on to the next slide, please, Akshita, that would be great. But we're getting into your data and having a look at that. So in terms of recognition that I mentioned there, the first recognition to achieve is to be Great Place to Work certified. So this is a certification standard that you are working towards, and it's based purely upon the score in the survey. So it's based purely upon the results of your people in your organization. And that's unique around what we do. So there's lots of awards out there, but being Great Place to Work certified means that using the model and methodology that we have, your people are staying for them, in the majority case, that it's a great place to work. The score you're looking for is 65%. So as I say, that's a certified standard that you're looking for. You're not in competition or comparison with anybody else. And once you achieve that certification standard, you're certified, and that is annualized for 12 months. So that means it can happen at any time during the year. We often get asked, when is the best time to survey? So that's really up to the rhythm of your business. But we can certify you at any stage in the year. So your annualized certification could run from March 26 to March 27. And it's based purely upon the results of your survey and the voice of your people. So if we just go to the next slide, please, Akshita. In terms of your data, I'll share in a moment or two some of the categories that we measure, but we chunk 17 categories up into under 3 headings, and this is just one of them, which is achieving organizational objectives. And in here we would look at 4 areas. So we're measuring communication and involvement, strategy and direction, performance management, and environmental, social, and governance. And what we're really looking at is on the first column is your own score. And then we're able to benchmark against a certified score. And where we're very strong is industry and sector benchmarks. And these are vital. These are really, really important tools for you to use in terms of action planning and prioritizing. We fully understand that all your organizations and your businesses are very busy, and there's lots of things you could be doing. but we want to be able to focus on and prioritize on the key areas that are going to impact building trust in your organization and building the culture that you have so that you can leverage that as a competitive advantage. So we work through each of those categories and we're sharing your particular score and using the benchmarks. And we can cut the data in multiple ways. So we're able to see what the view of leadership and senior management is in terms of what they want to deliver for the organization, what the experience of people managers is, and then what the perspective of your staff and teams are within the organization as well. So we just go to the next slide, Akshita, please. Thank you very much. And obviously, this is an important piece as well. So I mentioned one document at the start, which you'll work with client success in terms of an employee template. We'll take a template of the organization in advance of the survey. And then if you're thinking with the end in mind, when we're coming back to present the results to you, we're able to show you what the overall response rate looked like, and then who responded by job role, by gender, by age, by time with the organization, and multiple other factors. So you can get a really good sense in terms of what your workforce is experiencing. Are there differences between tenure and experience with the organization? And this will inform your action plan as you go along. So we have another poll now for you, and this is just a very, very quick one, just to really understand if you as an organization have an employee experience survey within your organization already. Some organizations do, some don't. So it's just an interesting insight to see if you have. So if you could just click yes or no, please, then we can have a quick look at that. And again, if you have any questions at all, I know as Cathal said, we got questions in advance of today, which we'll go through. But if you have any questions now, more than welcome to share and participate, please, with those. That would be great. Great. Okay, so there's the results of the survey. So 60% of you in the room today have a survey already, and 40% don't. And that, I would say, is a fair reflection, Cathal, of the range of organizations that we deal with. A lot of organizations will have a survey rhythm in place. So if you do have a survey in place and you have a survey rhythm, we can work in with that and work along with the rhythm of your organization in terms of when would be good to survey based on your experience and the action planning that you might have done from your own internal or global survey that you have in place already. If you don't have a survey, this is where we can really add value for you, because what we have is a very clear, structured, strong, proven methodology in terms of a survey. So you don't need to waste time trying to create a survey from scratch. We can access a methodology and a framework where you can run the survey. And in that first survey cycle, then we're able to pick up information across all the categories and share that back with you in terms of the action planning. So if you don't have a survey, that's not a problem at all. Many smaller organizations will not have a survey, but will have connected with their people throughout the year in different ways already. So we can implement the survey easily. And the next slide, please, Akshita, is one that I mentioned earlier in terms of areas that we measure in terms of great place to work. So officially, a great place to work is where you achieve organizational objectives, where employees are giving their personal best and working together as a team. So these are the three big headings that I mentioned earlier. So we have achieving organizational objectives, people giving their personal best, and working together as a team. And falling underneath each of those then are the range of areas. And you can see by those areas, they're directly going to impact the success of the organization and making it an ongoing and long and successful organization. So you're engaging with Great Place to Work, as I mentioned at the outset, in terms of a 3-year program. It's 3 cycles of what I've just described there. It's 3 cycles of the survey, feedback, action planning, and building on that and building into a collaborative way so that the whole organization is getting behind becoming a better and a great place to work as an organization. And we work through that with you and give you support along the way. And that's really everything I had to cover there, Cathal. So
thanks, Brian.
That's me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for sharing that. So this is really the section in terms of what's on your mind. So feel free to post any questions that you have. Brian, I know you took people through the program and the process there. Um, Joanna, Lisa, and Maria, if I was to group their questions that we received in advance, it was all about the process that's involved. So sign up to the program. Um, Recognition is based off the survey. The survey will produce lots of insights around your work culture and will support you to improve your culture. So it's that improvement of work culture and recognition goes hand in hand. And we have a very experienced team, so you'll have a project manager that'll work with you and take you through the program. So thanks for those questions in advance. Just thinking about the poll we did, Brian, and I think it was 60%, I think, in terms of have their own survey already in place. Paul,
60-40. Yeah.
40, this is relevant, I think, to the question Paul asked, which was they have their own survey already. Um, why would we move to Great Place to Work?
Well, as I touched on, the Great Place to Work survey is a proven methodology. And I suppose what we're giving is an external view, an external expert view, and access to benchmarks. So that's really important that you're able to access those benchmarks. So rather than just working on your own data internally, you're able to access those external benchmarks. I should say that, your internal survey is very valuable, and we can have a look at that and see what the correlation between your internal results and our own survey results are as well. And the last thing is that you'll need to use our survey to access the recognition, and that's really important. We can't use other surveys. It's everybody's using the same survey basis.
Thanks for that, Brian. So, and often we work with organizations that have their own internal survey. Will also use the Great Place to Work survey, or sometimes the organization will move from their own internal survey to our survey, which will give them everything you need. So the benchmarks are updated annually, so that can be really useful. We have lots of experience in understanding the data and moving from data into action, and we're well placed to support you on that. One of the questions on the Q&A here. My organization, being retail, has a huge population of part-time staff under 25. We'd like to know how to drive engagement with them. I'm happy to take that. So, as Breen shared, when we run the survey, we can look at the data across all parts of your business. If there's five or more responses, we can look at the data. So we'll be able to look at the data in terms of the age profile of your organization. So how do people feel under 25? How do people feel in terms of across all the age profiles? So the first piece I would say is we need to survey to understand how do our part-time staff under 25 feel? What's their trust levels like? How do they feel about leadership? Using the Great Place to Work survey. And from that, then we'll be able to see, well, these are the areas they feel really, really positive about in terms of the organization. And these are the areas we need to focus on to improve engagement within that group. So thank you for that question. And I'm thinking about Woody's and Carol's in terms of retail organizations, Maxi Zoo, that we've helped support, because I know that question came in from somebody in retail. So thank you for that. Brian, a question we got in advance. Shane has people across multiple countries. Is it Irish only, or how do we handle that?
Great. Thanks for that question. That's an important point, and I could have touched on that. So, Great Place to Work is a global organization, and we can absolutely survey and access people globally. And to clarify that, how it works is the local scores will contribute towards being certified locally. So if you have people, Shane, in the UK, or in another country in Europe or anywhere in the world, then we have the opportunity to run the survey all at the one time for everybody in your organization, and then use the local results for local recognition and feed you back that data. So yes is the answer. We can absolutely do that, and we do thankfully work with many successful Irish organizations and global organizations to provide that insight and that data.
Thanks for that, Brian. And the model works for 10 employees plus, and we work with organizations that some of the organizations we work with might have 10, 11,000 people, but we survey all the people. We can provide insights around each location, each country, etc., support you along that journey. So thanks for that question. We can support you in terms of the global survey piece. Interesting question here around um, how do I know I'm ready to start the journey, Brain? So how do I know I'm ready? I know that's something we hear a lot.
Yeah, that's something that comes up a lot in terms of being ready, and the feedback from the quiz was a good example of that. There was 58% of the people there that needed guidance, and another 8% had done the groundwork. Um, so how do you know? Well, I suppose to answer that question, you'd have to ask yourself, why would you engage with Great Place to Work? So is this purely something in terms of, are we ready so that we achieve certification? Or are we ready whereupon we need to access benchmarks? We're in a tough talent market and we need to leverage our culture. We need to leverage our employer brand. We need to get our employer brand out into the market. So it's never too soon to start that. So why we engage with organizations on a 3-year program is that in the first cycle, we can run the survey. And then from that, if you don't achieve certification, that's absolutely fine. We can focus on the areas then on what you're doing really well to ensure you're celebrating those, and then leverage on opportunities and build those out, and work together with everybody in the organization in that regard.
Thanks for that, Brain. So, um, and sometimes a way to think about it as well is, um, you know, if I have gaps in terms of my culture and different parts of the business, I want to find out about it as soon as possible, right? So I can address those gaps, whether it be a low trust leader or a department that's maybe not having the same levels of engagement. I want to find out as soon as I can so I can plug those gaps. So I think that's a way to think about it as well. And then, of course, from your employer brand, in terms of if you're looking to attract talent, you want to get access to that brand as soon as possible. Got an interesting question in around absenteeism. I'll have a look at it, Brain. So it's a person has said that absenteeism seems to be quite high in one particular department. Um, any ideas on how we address this? And I suppose, look, from looking at the data and working with leadership teams, we often see that, right? We see that absenteeism can be higher in one particular department, and often the reasons for that absenteeism is because a lower engagement or a lower level of trust, or um, a particular type of people leader that might be in that particular department that's driving the absenteeism. So look, the first way to address it is to really understand again the engagement levels within that across all departments. You can map that then to your absenteeism levels, and once you're clear on what people like and what people would like to see done better, then you can start to put a plan in place. You build a trust that'll help the absenteeism levels as well. So I hope that answers your question. Ushin has asked us about pricing, Brain.
Great, yeah, and thanks for that question. And funnily enough, I spoke to Oisin yesterday evening on his own particular piece. So in terms of pricing, it's based very much upon your headcount and the level of engagement that you need from us. So what we'd really love to do is invite you to connect with us and have a meeting one to one. And from that, then we can understand your organization more. What is it that you need, and what is it that you're looking for from the framework? And then we'll be able to build a proposal that's suitable for what you want, leave out what you don't need and what you're not interested in, and really build a strong program with you. So happy to pick up a one-to-one conversation around the pricing with and the investment required with everybody.
Thanks, Brian. So we'll follow up individually with everyone. Sylvia, thanks for the question there. You have a lot of new staff who are still becoming familiar with the organization. Um, what's really important is to be able to listen to the new staff, hear from them, what's working for them, what's not. And we'll be able to look at the data in terms of people of 0 to 3 months, six to nine, 10 to 12, and see exactly is there something within the first year that we need to address. And sometimes what we see, Sylvia, is that the onboarding may not be as good as it could be, or the welcome, but we'll be able to reveal that for you in the data, and then we can start to address it. So we'll be able to look at the data across all tenure, Sylvia. So I hope that's helpful. Just one more question, I think, and Elaine has said to us that the organization will be going through a lot of change in the next couple of years, are going through change. How does our program speak to that? What we see, Elaine, is that a really important element to have as a workplace as you look to embrace change is the levels of trust that are in place. So as you use the data to improve your work culture, you're going to build your trust levels. And the higher trust levels you have, the more you'll be able to navigate through the change that we're all facing from a workplace point of view. So that's how the program will speak to that. You'll be able to identify the areas to look at, improve your trust levels as a result, and then your organization will be more ready for that change that it's facing into. Um, okay, so look, thank you very much for the engagement there. Thank you very much for the questions, Breen. Thanks for
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to picking up conversations with as many as you possible.
Yeah, we'll follow up with everyone individually. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Unfortunately, it's still raining. It was raining at the start. It's still raining now. All right. Thanks, Oshin. Enjoy the day, and thank you very much, Akshita. And look, we hope to see you all soon on the Great Place to Work program. Thank you
Perfect.
very much. Good to see
Thanks
you.
again, everybody. All the best. Have a good day.